Hey, welcome to Decide New with JW. This is Decide New number 28, Be Ethical. So I've allowed these videos to take shape with certain things that are going on in my life, topics that pop into my head that I want to discuss that night. And today was really one of those that being ethical popped into my head, and I really wanted to talk about it for a couple different reasons. So first is what is currently going on in current events. So the tragedy that happened in the United Kingdom today, I want to say first, any loss of life is tragic. And tragedies such like that should never happen. They shouldn't. But why do they happen? And the one reason, there's just one reason, I'm not going to get into it too much, but the one reason is because at the end of the day, the individual that did this is unethical. And I know for some that might not like that, well, there's so much more there. Look, the core, the foundation of that individual was unethical. And we have to understand that. Here's the other thing. We have to understand that the only way that the average individual combats unethical individuals is by being ethical. There are those that their primary profession in life is to combat them physically. I'm talking about how we do it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is being ethical and ensuring that our morals and values are grounded properly and ensuring that we want to be an ethical human being. Not need to be, but we want to be. We want to be ethical individuals. Because being ethical is a decision that that individual decided not to make. And for us to go ahead and combat it is by making the decision to be ethical every single day. In everything that we do. There's never going to be a time in our life where everybody and every individual human being around the world is ethical. I've been taking, my college courses for the last couple of years, and I'm finishing my degree finally. And I took it in philosophy with an ethics concentration. So the one thing I can say for sure is over the last 3 or 4 years, I have taken enough courses on ethics to know that there are unethical individuals in every profession around the world. The difference is those individuals are unethical in their work environment. They lie, they cheat, they steal. They do not go to the extreme of taking a life for no reason. We have to do something, and it's simple. It's very simple. Be ethical. Everybody wants to make a difference in the world today. That's the big thing. Everybody wants to make a difference. Make a difference positively. Make an impact on the world positively. And being an ethical individual, that's the way. That is how you do it. You ensure that your morals and values and ethics promote good morals and values and ethics. Understand that. Because if you don't, and you don't learn from history on what happens to unethical individuals, it's going to cost you. Every single job, every single profession that is in the world has some type of ethics code. And there's rules and there's regulations and there's laws specifically in a lot of countries that are based off of ethics by themselves. So we have to understand that. And I want to transition into why that's important to become successful. Why is being an ethical individual important to being successful? If you want to own your own company, you might have the greatest idea. You might be able to pull in the most amount of money. You have the best social media. You have the best everything, the best profit, the best stakeholders, all of it. But eventually, if you are unethical, you are more likely to ruin yourself than to continue with the success that you currently have. History has shown us in so many different companies, so many different organizations, that as soon as they lose their core, their ethics, the company loses their foundation and it goes under. And if you don't believe me, by all means, finish watching this video and go and do some research. Because class after class that I had to take showed these examples. And it was startling in the simple fact that I didn't think that there was, I know there are unethical individuals out there. But I didn't know in the ways that these individuals were unethical. They lied to everybody within their organization, everyone within the company, their employees, their stakeholders. They, cooked the books in different things, and just unimaginable. Just like there are so many well-known individuals throughout history that are still praised today for so many things that they brought and so many great things that, they did for society. And then you look and you see that some of the things that they did are absolutely horrible. They're absolutely unethical. You can't even, I can't even explain what they did and how poor of a decision they made when they portrayed something so great, but in reality they were something so garbage. So to be successful, you have to go ahead and be ethical. You have to make ethical decisions. You have to ensure that the company that you're building or the organization that you're working for or also trying to build is grounded in ethics, proper ethics, right ethics, understanding that those rules and regulations are there for a reason. And to ensure that, just like I've talked about previously, cutting out bad individuals within your life, cutting out those bad individuals within your organization, your company, your those that you work with, because they breed that unethical. They are a cancer that needs to be cut out of your organization. It's easy for us to go ahead and look outside and be like, oh, well, all these individuals are unethical. But sometimes we don't realize that we ourselves have kind of allowed our ethics to erode in certain ways. And when we get stuck in certain, subcultures and everyone there is doing something that is unethical, we kind of fall into line with that. You have to be the voice that stands up and says, this is wrong. You have to be that individual that goes against the grain and ensures that other individuals know that that is not acceptable and they're not going to be able to get away with it. And honestly, if we do that within our society, unethical individuals are going to be less likely to do what they do. There are always going to be those that take being unethical to an extreme. However, that is the way that we have to combat it. We have to combat it from a societal standpoint. We have to combat it from an individual standpoint, an organizational standpoint. Because if we don't, then the world that we currently live in is going to be ruined. And we are going to be the bystander that stood there and allowed it to go to crap. So think about that. Think about it. We all have a stake within this. But really, if we want to be successful, we have to make the decision to be ethical. And we have to ensure that no matter how successful we get, we remember where we started and where our ethics started and what ethics got us to where we are, got us to success. So when we get there, we don't allow those to erode and then turn into something that's not. So until my next video, thanks for watching. Decide and do number 28, be ethical.